We like Obi-Wan Kenobi. That might not seem like a very controversial statement, but if you spent any time on YouTube the last 3 weeks, you'll know that that is not a very popular sentiment among other Star Wars YouTubers. For the casual fan, the general population, they continue to eat this series up. They can't get enough of it. And that's good for Disney and Lucasfilm because ultimately those are the people that are paying their bills. But for supposed superfans, they cannot stop vomiting their hatred for this series all over the internet, despite the fact that we've only gotten 2/3 of it so far. So in a galaxy of the Star Wars franchise and on this homeworld of Korriban, are we alone? Are there other voices out there that can continue to keep the spark of hope alive? Hello, and welcome to Coffee on Korriban. Welcome back to the show. Like I said in the intro, I want to know if there's other people out there that are even entertaining the idea that this show can be enjoyed. Because there really does seem to be a very stark contrast between people that, not professionally, but as a major hobby of theirs, they spend time learning about Star Wars. Most of them, at least the vocal ones on the internet, despise the show, and they will go to great lengths to make sure you despise the show as well. I don't think I agree with that. But on the other hand, the casual Star Wars fan, just the people you run up to in a store and they might have a Darth Vader shirt, you ask them how did they like Kenobi, and they're all over it. So we're going to get into the discussion of why that is the case in this show. I have a very special guest on, a great friend of the channel, and he's more than willing to help any other channel. He's been doing great things on his end. But first, let's get to the comment of the week. My favorite comment of the week is from Jack Brody. He says, Star Wars is everyone's personal thing that has infinite meaning, so people get extremely protective over it because it is sacred in a way. And I absolutely agree with that. That's why it's so hard to please the fans. You cannot please everyone because it means something different to everyone else. So can we really be that frustrated with this show for not delivering exactly what we want out of it? And are we the problem because we want certain things out of this show? But I'm going to bring in my guest right now. You know him, hopefully. You better love him. And if you're not subscribed, please do. Mr. Star Wars Obsession, how are you doing today?
Powerful intro. That was good stuff.
Thank you. I'm trying.
Well, and you hit an important point. To me, I feel like the largest thing going on right now is number one, the hatred in the or distaste or dislike for what's going on with the Kenobi series. But then on the other side of that coin, you have this newly framed phrase called, I don't know exactly, hopefully the chat will help me out, called toxic positivity or positively toxic. I don't really know which way they're swinging on that. And I find this fascinating because I've been saying it for the entire duration my channel has existed, that, the negativity online has a deeper flow and a further, it goes further and gets more clicks, and it's easier. I'm not saying it's easy to grow channels. It's just easier to have the negativity get you more clicks.
Yeah, it's like you said, very easy. And I'm sure I could blow my channel up to 1,000 subscribers by clickbait, thumbnails and oh, this is terrible with a big arrow pointing to Reva's face and Kathleen Kennedy's face in the corner. It's easy to do that.
Easier. It is still a difficult trade. It is difficult. I don't want to discredit the people that have worked on this negativity to get where they are. But it is easier. It is a path that has less turns and bobs and weaves and roadblocks and things like that, because like you said, a couple arrows, what the F is this? how does this, this makes me feel, throw up, thumbs bad,
Yep.
all that stuff gets clicks, and that's great. I mean, look, everybody's going to have their own opinion about what they're giving us, right? The idea of headcanon to me I don't really dig that whole perspective, right? I get you're going to want what you want, and that's a large part of what's going on right now. It's a large part of what's going on with this phase of Disney Star Wars is
Hmm.
people expected a Boba Fett based on what we were being fed by social media, by the people involved in the show, and we get our expectations up, and then we get let down. And then everybody's expectations are, well, they need to make this show. This is the show they need to make. This is the script they need to do. This is the actors, the way the actors need to be. And if it's not this way, I'm out.
Yep. And Don puts a good point right here. The algorithms are negative.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
absolutely correct. And
Yes.
one of my favorite channels, Casey Putsch, he does race car builds
Sweet. Love it.
in his
Send me a
garage.
link.
It's a really cool channel.
Send me a link. Love it.
Yeah, I absolutely will. I'm trying to get him on my show because he's a Star Wars fan as well. He said he was willing. We just got to make that work. But one thing he said in one of his most recent streams is the algorithm wants you to be scared and horrified and offended. It wants that because that's what generates most of the interaction and gets people stuck onto that platform. So it makes sense why the algorithm, whether on YouTube or Facebook or TikTok, would promote those, harmful, degenerate, messy things, because that's what gets most of the interaction. And I don't want to sell out for that crowd. I just don't. And I don't feel comfortable at this point putting a blanket cap on the entire series and saying, I don't like this. This is terrible.
Well, and how can you? I mean, this is seen a third of a play. This is seen or 2/3 of a play, walking out at the second intermission and not coming back. This is, walking out in the middle of a brand new song or a brand new show of any kind and saying, well, that show was awful. And it's like, well, did you watch the finale? Did you see what happened at the end? I mean, watch your favorite television show and stop before the finale and tell me what you think, right? This is what everybody's doing, right? It's funny because I travel around a plethora of circles in this little space that is content creation, and I spent some time Josh at the Den of Nerds is one of the guys that I still support. I dropped a couple of subscriptions and a couple memberships just because I can't agree with what's going on their channel, and I just can't. So I canceled a bunch of subscriptions and memberships, but I kept Josh's because I really enjoy the perspective and the realism and his entertainment value. Like you're saying, production value, entertainment value, all this stuff is important. But today, man, I was peeing in his Cheerios. I was just not, I wasn't trying to poke him, but I guess I was just poking him and making him mad. And because I just don't understand how you can, and I get it. These guys, this is what they do for a living. A lot of these guys that have this many subscribers and do these videos and have editors, this is what you do. I get it. But to just go full negative before you've seen the finale, even though you know the spoilers and leaks, it just feels a little I don't know. I think Star Wars Theory has finally corrupted him on the dislike for Disney Star Wars, and I think he might be on the precipice of crossing the bridge.
Right. And I try not to get involved with really any other channels other than the ones I'm friends with. It's been very comforting the last year that since I crossed a year, so I've been on YouTube a year with this channel. But it's very comforting, really only watching most of the channels that I'm friends with, with a couple exceptions. I don't really think that I need to get anything from any of the bigger channels that I don't get from my friends, and that's been really nice to me. But let's get into this real quick. I wanted to ask you, why do you think it is that casual fans are eating up this series, as I said in the intro?
Oh, well, I mean, if you first of all, look at the intro that they did. Look at the prelogue or the prelude to the show itself, right? Look at the little montage that they put together. That was
Oh, it's
fantastic.
beautiful.
That was a fantastic montage. If you're not into Star Wars and you haven't gone and watched the prequels and the Clone Wars and all this stuff, and that's all you saw, that's number one, a hook. That was a great hook. Whoever cut that hit all the right
It
notes.
looked like one of the best fan edits I've ever seen on YouTube.
It was great. It was great. And everybody, I feel like that was a great draw in the first 10 seconds. They had you for at least that first episode. And then you get into the story in the first episode, and look, I know everybody, look, all right, I'm just going to say it. Everybody wants Space Jesus. Okay? That's what Kenobi is to everybody. Kenobi can do no wrong. He went through this entire life where he's losing people and losing people and losing people. He still comes out the white shiny knight at the end of it. And then we catch a man 10 years down the road, and they want him to be in his hut, doing katas and meditate and floating his meditation with aura, his lightsaber around him, floating in pieces, and then him in the desert by himself with a lightsaber practicing these forms and this stuff, right? It's not what he was told to do. Yes, there's training. Yes, meditation. Yes, trying to talk to Master Qui-Gon, all that stuff. But hide, escape, wait, right? What did his message say when they left? The message, wait for the next hope, hide, right? He was
you don't avoid Inquisitors by practicing in the Force and making your Force presence stronger. That's not what you do. And I have this in my show notes. We were talking about, what did we expect with Obi-Wan Kenobi? We wanted actively a broken Obi-Wan Kenobi. We want to see how he's dealing with it. I love it so far. My brother, when he reacted with me on this last episode, and we see Obi-Wan struggling to move the I don't know what it was, a small item. He's struggling to move it. Yeah. I looked at my brother over the internet. He's in California. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know it was that bad. Wow. Well, and that blew my mind.
But it's so, look, and I know I get a lot of heat for this because I don't hate on anything that they've made. There's pieces that I wish that they would have redone and structured and done differently, but I don't hate on any of the content that's been made. However, this feels very Luke in The Last Jedi, right? This is how, when you're hiding from the Empire, who is reigning supreme in the galaxy right now, and the Emperor is sitting there over his cauldron, searching the galaxy for Jedi to feel a spark of that light side, so he can send his Inquisitors to scoop him up and I guess put him in the mausoleum, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so Yoda's hiding on Dagobah, doing what Yoda does. Ahsoka's on Malachor, and Kenobi's on a planet that doesn't thrive dark side energy. So he almost has to try harder to hide himself, right? This is what people forget. The other Jedi that are hiding, the Master Yoda, Ahsoka, without really even thinking about it, these people are in dark energy planets that are hiding their light energy. Even
the cave that was next to Yoda's hut was a dark side Force nexus.
The whole planet was dark energy, right? That's why it hit him so well. Where do you hide the most powerful light side Jedi in the galaxy? On a dark planet, right? On a dark side planet. So anyway, I digress. Everybody expected Obi-Wan to be Space Jesus again, right? And that anybody that shows up, he turns on his lightsaber and he's this Kenobi, right? And that's just not what we get, and I'm loving that. I'm sorry, but Ben Kenobi that we see in A New Hope is still a broken man until he gets Luke. Until Luke comes and restores his faith, he's still that kind of broken man.
Right. But the only difference I will say between this current Obi-Wan, and this is room for character development, and Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan, is old Ben Kenobi is at peace with his situation. You can still see he's broken. He has all that pain, but he's at peace with where he is, what his role is. He's not fighting that. Obi-Wan in this series seems very uncomfortable with where he's at. Even when he's telling that fugitive Jedi, like buried in the sand, hide. Like he knows that's wrong. He doesn't agree with it, but he's saying that for their survival. And I want to see the character development between how he goes from completely broken and depressed to that older, wiser, at peace Obi-Wan. That's the character development I want to see. And another thing I picked up on was in, I think it was episode 3, where he was trying to talk to Qui-Gon and he says, if ever I could use your help, master, it's now, or something along those lines. And I thought, it's either been years since he's heard from Qui-Gon, or he's never heard from him this entire time he's been on Tatooine.
He's broken. He's broken. Look, Anakin dying, what he did to Anakin was trauma, right? I understand that everybody looks at this like it's you go back and watch this and imagine, I don't know if you have siblings. You said you have siblings. Are you the younger or older?
I'm the older.
Okay. Imagine your sibling and you are battling to the death.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you automatically know you have the advantage, right? You're like, and you know, he's done. It's checkmate. Yep. I got you. And you plead with him, stop, just stop. I have it. Stop. Right. And as all little brothers do, you underestimate me. Right. And they still go for it. This is exactly what happened to Kenobi. He not only raised this little boy by his side for the greater part of 15 to 20 years. Right. And then he's got little brother whooped. He knows what little brother's going to do because he's watched him his entire adolescent life. And he has to cut him into sushi, right? And then watch him burn and all of this stuff. That's why the first moments we see Kenobi sleeping, that's why that stuff is so powerful, because for 10 years, he's had the same nightmare. That's what PTSD is. People don't understand. And that's why this is a powerful thing for me, because this goes back to the Luke stuff. And I think that's why people hate this. You asked me initially, why do people not like this?
Yep.
Because this tastes like Luke in the sequels, and they don't like this version of their characters, right? But this is storytelling. This is growth in characters. Right. If we had Space Jesus the whole show with his lightsaber on his hip, bashing sand people for 6 episodes, people would have lost their minds. So which is it? Do you want it excite? Look, I lost money on this deal. I've lost several $100s on this deal, right? I should be the most angry, but I'm not, right? They're giving me something that shows me some depth. It's not just Kenobi in the desert beating up sand people arguing with Ben, or Owen the whole time. It's not that story. It's a broken, tattered Kenobi that is rediscovering himself. I think actually, if you watch the saber stuff, you can actually see him getting it back. Right? The form he uses was very youngling, right? If you watch it when he first ignites his saber and he's defending against the stormtroopers, he's like in the middle, right? Yep. He's like very youngling, and then he starts to remember. And like, if you even look at Cal Kestis in I just thought of this. Look at Cal Kestis in Jedi Fallen Order, and the sister Trilla even says it. Oh, I remember that form. That's the form of a youngling or a Padawan, right? And Kenobi did the same thing. He was sideways, straight up in the air, defending blaster bolts. Yep. He wasn't doing this fancy stuff that he used to do. It was very, very youngling.
Exactly.
So he was rediscovering saber technique after not touching his tools for a decade, right? And people didn't like that. People are like, well, you fall off a bike, you should know how to get right back on that bike and start pedaling down the street, varmint. That's not what happened, man. It's not what happens when you don't touch something for 10 years.
Well, that's true, but try being a professional BMX rider and then jumping on and then being like, oh, do a double backflip. Bro, what, you can't do that? You were the best. What's up, bro?
Be a gymnast, be a race car driver, be anything in life. stop doing it for 10 years and go back and do it. The only thing I know that I could go back and do tomorrow is I could literally get back and fix airplanes and get right back in the saddle, because I do that still. It's not something I abandoned for 10 years, right? I'm still a mechanic every day of my life. But something that I haven't done in 10 years, I would be really, really, really trashy.
Especially if something that is as the force is like a muscle, you're
Yeah.
completely apathetic at that point. Like the just the muscle loss in the force sense is going to be ridiculous. And Ladaj brings up a question right here. He says, "My biggest question is Leia and how her relationship with Kenobi works in the original trilogy. While I love little Leia in this show, I'm not sure she doesn't have any remorse when Ben dies." So I've been wondering this, and I've been thinking about it the last few days. Namely, why doesn't she tell Obi-Wan in the message, like, "Hey, remember me? You saved me when I was whatever, when I was 10 years old." The reason that I don't think that's a problem for me personally is because in that message she says, "Years ago, you served my father in the Clone Wars." This is a
Mhm,
call to join the war effort,
mhm,
not, "Hey, remember me? I need a favor." And
mhm.
she doesn't say in that message, "Come rescue me." I don't think.
No,
Does
she says,
she?
"Help." She says, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, but she
You're
wants him
my
to
only hope."
deliver the plans. Isn't that
Right,
her whole point of the message, is deliver the
right,
plans?
right.
And so she's saying, "Hey, remember Bale? You served my father in the Clone Wars. We need you now. Deliver these plans."
Well, and people age. I mean, little Luke doesn't
Mhm.
look like anything like Mark Hamill,
Right.
right? People age. And so to think that after, I mean, what, she's 10, so in 9 years, in 9 years, another decade almost, that's a long time. A person can change completely. So he may not remember her as
Mhm.
he's aged. We don't know what's going to happen in these last two episodes. I'm hopeful, and maybe we could talk about that at the end. I got a hopeful
Mhm.
couple scenes. But for me, look, there's parts of that bother me. I got to be honest. I'm hoping that, you know, I'm hoping maybe we get to see some of that mastery stuff from Star Wars that we don't really get to see. For instance, the blanking of the mind by the masters that they are capable of, right? Some of
Mhm.
these stuff that the council knows how to use, to stuff like they did to Revan, for instance,
Yep.
where they erase memory. That's some stuff that could come into play. There's a lot of room for this, and people are going to complain no matter what. Look,
Yep.
I, I love the franchise. I grew up, literally the first memory of television or movies was the logos. I thought those were lightsabers when I was a kid at the entry of Star Wars, right?
Mhm.
This was the first content I remember ingesting. I have a deep love for this stuff. That's why I can't just say, well, they're not doing it my way, I'm out.
Yep.
Right. I just, that's cool. That's, if that's how you want to live, by all means, please live your life, live your way. I don't try to impede on anybody's way of living. But spreading the negativity and the hate, and there's another stream that I was watching just before I got on, uh, where that's all that's become. I mean, initially I was on that stream because it was a fun, hopeful stream. It was entertaining and somewhat positive. And in the last couple years, I mean, that's the whole reason I started content creating, because I saw some of the channels that I enjoyed the most going really, really negative. And
Mhm.
that's why I am literally just trying to promote positivity, bring people in the circle that want to be positive about this, because the space is filled with, 20 to 1 right now with negative content creators that may not even be negative people. They're
Mhm.
just absorbing the atmosphere that is, you know, the push right now. Like you said, I'm I'm kind of in the mood to go just talk to people on the street with
Yep.
some free merch, and just, whether
That's a really good idea.
like, I have to go to California for a few days. I might just walk downtown in California with a mic and my Osmo, and just do some really awful man on the street stuff. Just talking with people about Kenobi and asking them if they want free merch. But just because I agree with you, I think the Muggles love it.
Yep. And that's another video that I wanted to make, an actual edited video. I wanted to call it the Disney or the Star Wars snowball theory. And if this continues down this path, are we going to get watered down storytelling because the general population absorbs it? And I fear that it's going to turn into that. I don't want it to. I want quality Star Wars, not just entertaining movies or TV shows. But I fear that it's going that way. But there is something to be said for most people really loving this and then the hardcore fans despising it. And I think a lot of it has to do with nostalgia. And there isn't a lot of nostalgia, but the Star Wars fans don't care about that as much as the story and how it fits in the timeline. There's more important things than just nostalgia for the hardcore fans.
For the hardcore fans, it's about their way. Like, look, I'm it, cool. I'm not a hardcore fan because I don't have 3 million subscribers. Cool. I'm not a hardcore fan. Okay, cool. Cool story. But I grew up on this just as much as these people because I don't read as much as they do, or whatever the case. You expect this to be your way, right?
Mhm.
And if you were running the franchise, maybe we would have a different temperature in the room right now.
Mhm.
But you're not. None of us are. And the people that are telling the story are telling the best story that I feel like the best story that they're brought, think of. I can't really put a thumbnail on or
Right.
a thumbtack on the right verbiage, but these people are telling the story. So until the symphony is done with this, I'm not judging it on the first 2 acts of a symphony, right?
Mhm.
That's what Star Wars is. It's poetry. Stop reading a poem in the middle.
Yep. And for everyone watching, we are in no way saying that you can't criticize the show or
Hate
have
it.
things you don't like.
Hate it if you
I
want to.
my problem is mostly blind hatred where you're not even open to enjoying the show, because then it's like, why are you even talking about this? If you're not even willing to give it a fair shake, why are you talking about
Yeah.
this? And then second, I don't like when people force other people to dislike them. And that's why I kind of resigned myself at the very beginning of this series to not really watch all that much Obi-Wan Kenobi coverage from other channels. Very few channels am I watching right now, just these last few weeks, because I knew the reaction and I kind of wanted to stay clear-headed about all of it. But when there's so many channels telling people, like, this is terrible, right? You're a true Star Wars fan, right? This is awful. You agree with me? That I can't get behind that. And I do have my valid criticisms of this show. There's
Oh,
a lot that I don't like about this show. But overall, the show, I like it. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time, and I'm more than happy to wait 2 more weeks to have a final verdict on this show, or at least this first season, if the rumors turn out to be true.
well, and like I said, I am rumorless, I am spoilerless, I am oblivious to all. Thank you, hello T. I am oblivious to all that is been released, right? I have spent
Mhm.
months dodging this dodging this like a man trying to give me free money. It's been really hard because it's everywhere.
Yep.
Every channel's talking about it. I haven't been able to watch any of the stuff that I usually watch because everything is about this. So when this is over, I'm spoiling everything.
Mhm.
I'm ruining everybody's day. But yeah, I have my criticisms. There's a lot that that bring question marks, but they're not
Mhm.
done. They're not done. And that's the thing, is that if you're going to complain, complain. Say your piece. This is what this space is for. You do you on your space.
Yep.
I'm not going to offer my criticism. I'm not going to let my laundry out in the world until the show is done, until it's over, because they have the power to change the ending if they want to extend the series, which honestly, I would love them to put this on a cliffhanger and bring 6 more episodes and
Yep.
give us more of what they want, of what we want, right? Give us
I
more.
love what Don says right here. Be an 11-year-old. That's my motto.
Dude.
That's
Okay.
really good advice, actually.
Okay. So Vader, okay, every some of the complaints that people, and these are other people's complaints.
Mhm.
Some of the Vader saber battle, right? I enjoyed that thoroughly. I'm only talking about the stuff I enjoyed. I enjoyed that
Mhm.
thoroughly. watching Vader be gnarly like that was amazing.
Oh yeah.
Watching him be so overpowering, it was amazing. There's a lot that I like. There's some that I don't, and I'm waiting. I'm just waiting. I'm not gonna say I don't like this because they could so Dave Filoni is so good at sewing things up. That's it. Dave and his story team are really good at sewing things up.
Yeah. And someone in the chat earlier, I don't remember who it was, said something about, I wish that the people making this, something along the lines of, did their research or watched as much or loved it as much as we do. I'm not going to go as far as saying that, because one of my subscribers, I can't remember. It might have been Droid Herder. Commented on one of my videos. It is a great name.
Great name.
I keep telling him to start a channel. But he said all the Jedi names in that little safe house where Obi-Wan saw Quinlan Voss's names, there's 3 other names that you can read, and those are all Legends characters with incredible backstories that they could easily bring into the show. But just the fact that they mention the names of some of those really obscure characters shows that they know Star Wars, they love Star Wars, and maybe some of the storytelling that can't shine through that. And again, that's a valid criticism. But I think the people that are making this are passionate. I think it's a good group of people. They just should not do chase scenes because they're not good at chase scenes.
Yes. They could. Honestly, I think if you're talking, I'm guessing you're talking about the Littlefoot chase scene in Leia and okay. Having more royal soldiers show up, and that's why she can get away so much, and the royal soldiers get got, and that becomes more of a thing. I think that would have made that chase a little more impactful. That there's, she's a princess. These people will lay down their lives for her, and I think seeing more of that would have made that chase scene a little more energetic. Would have made a little more accessible to people, because then, I understand why the little girl got away. She had a lot of help. Great.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, she had bodies being thrown in front of her.
Right. I think that tells a little more impact. And they could have done more with that. But look, you're talking about fleas on a dog's back, as far as I'm concerned. Right. Every complaint that these other creators have about this, for me, are fleas on a dog's back. They're so small to me in the grand scheme of what good stuff we are getting. Right. This broken Kenobi is the story. This is, look, what do you want? I mean, what do you guys want? You guys want a story of him lighting his lightsaber every 5 minutes and never getting discovered on Tatooine? Like, come on, bro. That absolutely, Jabba the Hutt is ruling the planet right now. You're telling me he's not going to call the Empire and get some of that free dough and goodwill?
It's a really good point.
At outing a Jedi? Like, come on. He's not hanging out at Jabba's palace having drinks with Bib. You know what I mean? This is he's literally hiding under a rock.
He's a no one, and he has to be a no one.
But he's hiding under a rock. He doesn't even have an apartment in town. He's not going to the local pub to check the hollow net. He's doing none of this. He's going to work. He's not complaining about his medial pay, because he's probably giving it away most times to Luke and Owen. So, I mean, this it disappoints me.
I mean, for people, what you were talking about earlier about comparing him to Luke, they don't like that he's being a hermit. What is he in A New Hope? Luke says, like, doesn't Uncle Owen say, like, I don't want you going anywhere near that crazy old man? Yeah, like, that's who he is when we meet him in the original Star Wars. That doesn't make sense why people would have that criticism.
Speaking of hope that's running through the galaxy,
he's not running around poking his head around corners saying hello there any chance he gets.
Dude, he's literally living under a rock to avoid people. He's got a droid. It looks like he's got an astromech hiding in the dirt, just as an early warning system. Somebody was complaining. They're like, well, if he's so, this was hilarious. I can't even remember who said it. What did they say? Oh, if he's so scared to engage, he doesn't want to fight. He's so scared to engage with everybody. Why, when his droid says, hey, there's been an intruder, does he run right in? And it's like, well, that's what everyone would do.
It's your home.
Walk in and go, hello there.
Yeah, like, what are you
Hello.
doing?
Now, were there
Yeah.
some opportunities for him to go, hello there? That would have pleased some people and maybe got some of them
Mhm.
off his back. Cool. But look, man, I mean, he's doing everything a hermit would do. He's doing everything
Mhm.
that they said he was doing in original in the New Hope. I just feel like they're dancing on some lines. I'm not gonna lie. They're really close to just crossing some lines. And again, I've lost money on this deal.
Mhm.
I could be the first one on the train of complain, right? The complain train. I could be the first one. I think that's going to be a new segment on my show, the complain train.
I like
Um,
it.
but you know, I could be the first one on this train. I could literally be the first person to sign up. I could be conducting. I could be ruining, and I'm not, man. I'm not. I lost 300 bones already on this,
Mhm.
and it's not even finished yet. I'm waiting. I was going to pay those early, but I'm going to wait till the show's over to pay them because I really just want to wait. I want everybody to wait.
Yeah.
But you know, I've lost bones on this, and I'm not upset. So if you haven't lost money on this show, I don't want to hear you complain. I'm sorry.
Right.
That's it.
Exactly. Two things I wanted to take care of, and then I'll get into what my favorite scene has been so far in the show. I'm interested to hear yours. But first, Dat Boy Steve says, for the people that own the Secrets of the Jedi book, is that Arabesh translation paper in it just for that book, or is it an actual accurate translator for all things Arabesh in Star Wars? I don't know about that paper specifically, but I know there is a translation alphabet, and it does accurately translate
Oh,
things
and
in
I have
Star
an app too that does it actually really spot on.
Wars. Hmm.
I've looked at some of the translations on the screen and I'm like, that's okay. That's pretty good. So
Yep.
there's an app for that, oddly enough.
Brent, aka Jedi Scum, says, "Hey everyone, was just watching a very popular weekly stream, and they're being so negative that it was getting me down. Glad you guys are on to give me a boost." Well, I am honored that you say that, and I don't think I've seen you around here before. So if this is your first time, welcome. Here's a special sip for you.
Yeah, Brent is one of the guys that's usually around my channel, and
Awesome.
we ran into each other at Celebration, but we were like so quick to like pass. Like I
Yeah,
had stuff in my bag for people. I was like, we should have taken a selfie. So Brent's people. Brent's a great guy.
nice. Well, nice to meet you. So we're past the halfway point in this show, and I thought it would be time to talk about the way the news goes.
The Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire.
All right, so this comes to us out of Disney World in Paris. You've probably seen it. The video's been out for about a week now, but apparently some guy wanted to propose to his girlfriend in front of Sleeping Beauty's castle, the most iconic spot to take a picture or video your proposal in the entire world. And it didn't really go so well for him.
This guy is popping the question on stage at Cinderella's castle in Disneyland Paris. Suddenly, a Disney employee swoops in, snaps the ring, and orders them off the platform. Luckily, she said yes before getting the boot.
She said, yes, that's great, but over here she's gonna be even better. But over here she's gonna be even better.
So I laughed so hard when I saw that. And at first, my gut reaction was to feel so sorry for the man. That is the most important thing you'll ever do in your life, is to propose. And then I thought to myself, he's proposing in the same spot that 100,000 other people have proposed in.
Right.
I don't know that I can feel that sorry for him.
Yeah, I mean, look, number one, you're in Paris, so I can think of another 3 more iconic places to slap a ring on that thing.
Mhm.
The Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, I don't know, any beautiful French restaurant in the entire country. Disney, yeah, good for you, dude, but I think you could have done a better job there.
Well, for myself, when I proposed to my wife, I went to, there's this cliff in Southern California that overlooks this beach. And I went, and it was my wife's birthday. I had a table already set up, and we had dinner on the cliff, and people were bringing flowers by saying happy birthday. She thought it was her birthday, and I had a little Bluetooth speaker, and we danced. And after dancing, I was like, happy birthday, got down, gave my little thing, and she said yes and stuff. But it was in the same exact location on that same cliff that my dad proposed to my mom, and my wife knew that. That was a very special place for me. I cannot even think about how cheesy it would be to propose at Disneyland unless we were both super fanatics about Disneyland or Disney World. So I might be the odd man out, but I'm kind of taking the employee's side.
Well, and then I mean, look, you're on number one, the mouse. I mean, we know, but the mouse is strict, number one.
Mm-hmm.
So number one, you're literally in the mouse's house. Number two, they're really strict about where you go and what you do and staying out of these zones. And these people probably crossed a rope that was set up that said, do not go on stage, and did it anyway. So look, yeah, I appreciate that he wanted to do a nice thing. I think there could have been a better vantage point to do that. There might have been something closer.
And supposedly they got permission to do it up there on that spot. It is kind of weird that he just stole the ring and ran down. Oh, but down here,
I'd have just kept running. In fact, if it was me as that employee, I wouldn't have been like, please get off the stage. I'd have just kept running with the ring because they'd have chased you, homie. You didn't have to say, oh, it'll be better down here. Just keep running to the end of to the parking lot if you had to.
Exactly.
And then they'd have chased you, and you'd have been like, oh, I'm sorry, you couldn't do that on the stage, and nobody would have seen that interaction.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I'd have had fun with it. I wouldn't have just been like, no, you can't be here. I'd have been like, peace. Just our truck.
Either way,
catch me.
It's a very funny video. And whether you're on the side of the employee or the guy, that's the way the news goes.
The Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. That was great. I like that segment. That's a good segment.
Thank you. That's what I said earlier. I'm trying to have some production value.
That was great. That was really great. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
All right. So let's the next thing I wanted to talk about as we kind of get towards the end of this show is, does this show break canon? And I have a whole bunch of people that I can think of off the top of my head that would immediately say, absolutely, it destroys canon. It does not respect the original. But then I can think of rational explanations as to why it just kind of skirts the edge of breaking canon or bends canon or slightly reinterprets things. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, like I said, I've lost bones on this already. So, and canon breaking was one of them. But after a long, and I even thought this before the show aired, I was like, I could be dead wrong. I could have made some bets. My mouth could have been writing butts. My brain wasn't ready to cash yet. But all things being equal, look, if you're just looking at these movies, specifically the OT trilogy, as an individual movie in their own right, then yes, this absolutely breaks canon. If you're looking at A New Hope in its own right, as its own solo movie, leading into this, yes, it starts to screw with canon. But if you're looking at these as a trilogy, as a story, as a symphony, as poetry, it doesn't. And so here's my nearsightedness. I bet people that number one, if Vader and Obi-Wan fight, I lose. That's a canon breaker. If Kenobi leaves Luke without protection, it's a canon breaker. If Kenobi leaves, without protecting Luke or without going, like Ben goes off world and Luke goes with him and Kenobi stows away on a ship, that would have been fine. But anyway, those are the two for me that were like, those are canon breakers. But I was looking at those from one movie. I was looking at those from A New Hope, and just from A New Hope. And I went back and I started watching some of the Vader scenes with Luke in particular, and the stuff he's saying to Luke. And I get to Return of the Jedi, and I get to the scene where Luke turns himself in on the Endor moon base.
Yep. I know where you're going with this.
And they're walking down the hallway, and Luke is, he starts a conversation with, I have been expecting you or something like that. And he says, I know, Father. And he's like, so you've accepted the truth? And he's like, no, I've accepted
the truth that you were once Anakin, my father.
Once Anakin Skywalker, my father.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that name no longer has any meaning for me. And he tells him it's the name, it's the name of your true self. You've only forgotten or whatever. And Vader is looking at Luke's lightsaber, and it is basically a mixture of Ben Kenobi and maybe a little Qui-Gon and a little bit of Anakin, right? And you see specifically in the switch, that seems very, it's all very Ben Kenobi, because these are all extra parts. But he's looking at this saber, and he's like, your skills are complete, and you are powerful. And he's like, I feel the conflict within you. Let go of your hate. And and Vader says something, and this is kind of what made me realize I think I might have screwed with myself. Is Vader says, Obi-Wan once thought as you do. And then, you don't know the power of the dark side. I must obey my master. This is where I was like, shoot, they totally could have had another conversation right after the burning on Mustafar. So that's where I got caught up in this canon stuff, right? Is that I was looking at it from only A New Hope. And I was going, well, I haven't felt this presence since, and we meet again at last when I left you, which is all true. The last time they were master and apprentice was when he landed the ship on Coruscant with the Chancellor, and they left each other and they said goodbye. That was the last time that he was his that he was the learner, right? He became Vader after that. So there's all of these little nuances that they're dancing around. They're dancing on lines.
And it's a different story entirely if in that line in A New Hope, he says, he first sees Obi-Wan Kenobi, and instead of, when I left you, I was but a learner. If he said something like, it's been 20 years since I've met you, my master, or something like that's completely different. Absolutely, that breaks canon. But I think they are very carefully surgically, yes, it's increasingly apparent to me that they know what they're doing.
And look, so there was something earlier that was said that, how could this go across Dave Filoni's desk? Dave Filoni's not in charge. He's out to lunch. He's not. The lights are on, but nobody's home. How could he let this out of his office? How could he let this on the main street? And again, we're not done. Number one. Number two, this is poetry, right? This is poetry, and there's going to, in poetry, it can sometimes get messy, and that's the beauty of poetry. And so I gotta let this finish out. But for me, if you're looking at the movies as a collective, you see when Luke talks about Kenobi, Luke is almost saying verbatim what I think we might hear Kenobi say to Vader. Anakin, this isn't you. Let go of your hate. I did what had to be done. You were not in the state of mind. Padme, blah, blah, blah. There's so much.
Oh, he better not mention Padme.
There's so much room for them to sew this up. And I'm not ready to concede that this is awful. There's, like I said, I'm going to air out my laundry at the end. So far, I can only talk about the things that give me hope, that make me positive, and the things that I see that aren't what other people see they are. So, like I said, I've lost bones on this, and canonically, I don't feel like it's broken yet. But I know everybody else's expectations are in a different place.
Right. And for everyone watching, if you happen to not be subscribed to the Star Wars Obsession, I just put his link in the chat. Please do. because as I always say, a subscription to a channel costs you nothing, but to someone it could mean a whole lot.
Yeah, you do say that, and it is very true.
Yep.
It is very true.
Yep. It costs it it means a whole lot when you lose subscribers too. Just posting
Indeed.
the title and thumbnail of this stream, I lost 2 subs.
Yeah, I mean, look, I fluctuate 1 to 2 to 3 a day, depending on,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
goes up and down.
it goes up and down, it fluctuates. But yeah, I mean, I've lost subs. I mean, like I said, I get called a shill. If I'm a shill, I'm a shill. That's cool. I don't mind being called a shill.
Mhm.
And you know, there's a lot of, hey, my guy, there's a lot of negativity in the space. We live in a negative world already. There's a lot of negativity just in everyday life that you can see no matter
Yep.
where you look. So I choose. I'm not, you know, like I said, I watch a lot of Den of Nerds, right? I watched a lot of Star Wars theory
Mhm.
until about a year ago.
Same.
And about a year ago, I couldn't take it anymore. And that's really one of the reasons I started to amp my channel up. I created my channel, or my Google name, which is, you know, I created that so that I could talk on theory streams and super chat and all that stuff with a Star Wars name, not something else. It's random. And then one day he shut me down, and I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm starting my channel. I have to speak about this somewhere. So look, I spent a lot of time on, I did spend a lot of time on those 2 guys. I spent a lot of time on Den of Nerds, and I was, you know, busting his chops today. He tweeted about me today. It was really awesome. If you check out the Den of Nerds tweet, and he's talking about a unicorn, that was me that said that in his member chat. But you know, there's a lot of people that are going down a dark path right now that I don't think even want to. I just feel
Oh.
like there's a lot of people's expectations. I mean, some of my greatest friends uh, are going down a path that
You can't follow.
I'm not going to follow. Again, we could talk about all this stuff, but if you want to debate this stuff, cool. But I'm not going to concede
Mhm.
just because in your head canon, which is a thing I hate. That who was it? Pablo that said that initially.
I don't know.
I think Pablo said head canon and started that whole thing.
I say headcanon is the best canon. I stick with it.
I don't subscribe to the head canon. I subscribe to what they give me on screen, and like it or hate it, it is canon. You know, Star Wars theory, his perspective is that everything that Disney is making is fan fiction. It's not real Star Wars canon. And that's the stuff I'm talking about. I don't dislike the guy's content. I don't dislike the guy at all. I got no beef with anybody. I'm just saying there's a lot of negativity coming out of that space, and you're the you know, you're the megaphone. I'm the guy yelling with laryngitis on the street, you know, in a robe, you know, in the middle of July when it's 115, and you're the guy with a megaphone, right? So our voices are very different. Everybody is allowed to do and think their own way. But for me, this whole headcanon idea is, it's kind of obtuse. I just feel like, love it or hate it, get in or get out. Don't put your foot in the pool and then get out. Don't jump in when it's good and then, you know, bash on it when it's bad. Get in or get out. And honestly, I've heard this for the last year. Well, if they do this show wrong, I'm out of here. If they do this show wrong, I'm not watching Star Wars anymore. I'm glad I don't watch Star Wars, because Star Wars. Well, you know what? You do watch it. You're still watching it. You're still making content on it. It's just not. You're not a happy person making it. You're living in the negative space.
And it's funny that you say that. Master Paul of the Star Wars guys just put out a song. I forget the song. It was a parody of a song all about how Star Wars is not on the right path. And I commented in response to that, like, I see your parody, and I raise you a Careless Whisper parody, and I'm gonna make a Careless Whisper cover all about how, like, Star Wars is dead to me. I don't believe that, but a lot of people are feeling that way, and I feel like that might be a funny
lot of
thing to
people
make.
are feeling that way, and like I said, to each their own. I mean, if you want to fill your space with this negativity, you go ahead. If you want to put this content out there that makes you happy to get it out there and talk about it, then do it. It's your channel, it's your space. People are going to come and listen to what you have to say based on what you're saying, and they're going to add and subtract from your numbers as you ebb and flow.
Yep.
I am going to continue to be consistent. We were talking about consistency earlier. I'm going to talk about my streams may not be consistent, my segments may not be pointed as everybody else's channels, but I am going to be consistent in that I am not going to hate. I'm not going to push hate in this space, because there's enough of it out in the world for everybody already. So
yeah, exactly what Don says. I can't even watch the original trilogy anymore. It's ruined for me. Just every time I see a lightsaber, like I can't. I literally can't even.
Yeah. Well, like I said, let's wait to the end. I'm really hoping that Disney and sandbagging the leakers. I hope that they do go and change the ending.
Yep.
So all these leakers get sandbagged. And not to make them pay or like to get vengeance, right? It's not anything about that. It's just to even the playing field and show, you don't know everything that's going on in these companies, whether it's Marvel, DC, Star Wars, whatever. We don't know because we're not in the upper echelon. We're not in the business, in their atmosphere, in their circles. And so, I'm not a big proponent of leakers and spoilers, especially with this show. Like I said, so many people tried to ruin this for me. I'm leaking and spoiling everything going forward, just as a pun almost. But yeah, I mean, look, I hope they're sandbagging us. I hope they let out all this stuff, and at the end we're like, oh well, we let those leaks out to push you guys in one way, but this was always really the ending.
And I made a point on your stream the other day, even though I was audio only, hiding in my closet on my phone, trying to keep the girls sleeping, that they can control leaks if they want to.
Oh, they have.
Luke showing up was kept under wraps. No one knew for sure.
Dude,
Grogu even existing in the first season of Mandalorian was kept under wraps. They can keep these secrets if they want.
With a full prosthetic helmet for photos in case anybody got froggy and wanted to leak something. Right? They are smarter than us. I know everybody thinks they're the stone cold genius in the room and you're the smartest guy on the planet. Newsflash, everybody, nuclear take. They're smarter than all of us.
Yep.
So no disrespect, not calling anybody stupid, but they're smarter than all of us. So if anybody's burning your merch, I'll give you the PO box, send it over, and I'll light the box on fire for you. and then we can go from there. But yeah, I mean, if you're burning merch, don't waste that money. Send it my way. I'll give you a tenth of what you paid for it. How about that?
Yep. Matt Cave says, I heard Kenobi will be in some theaters when it's finished. I can't wait to watch it as a whole experience. I have heard that as well. I can't remember from where, but if that is the case, I'll be there. I've never experienced in my life Star Wars in a theater. I've never had that opportunity. I was too young when the prequels came out, and I've never experienced that. So I'll be all over that.
Well, and there's a lot of people that are like, with it's so funny. This is why I was getting to this. Everybody's like, with Star Wars is like, oh, the next show is going to be great. Oh, the next show is going to be great. Oh, the next one, right? They're always like the next one, the next one. I didn't hate this. I haven't hated this show yet. Boba, I don't think that's over yet. So again, I'm going to wait to judge that in its full context. I'm hoping that they're going to make some changes to the character, show some flaws, and then, we'll see him again, because we're going to see him again in Mando. But yeah, I just hope there's some sandbagging. I'm looking forward to the last 2 episodes. I think it's going to be fun. It's been fun for me so far, and that's what Star Wars is for me. Star Wars is life. Star Wars is a big part of my life, but to get depressed because it's not going my way is not the way I'm going to approach
It's
this.
not all about you, obsession.
I mean, that's it. It's yeah, I guess it's my way or the highway with Star Wars. That's the new mindset. It's my
Yeah.
way or the highway with the fandom. And so cool. I guess it's
So
the
Lemon Meerkat says, I made a community post yesterday that Star Wars fans are toxic. Do you agree with that statement? Some are, and there are weirdos in every group. And usually, exactly like what Matt Cave says, they're a very small percentage, but they yell the loudest for attention. And they get the most attention specifically from media outlets, people covering this, because again, all that negativity gets interaction. And so I feel like the toxic parts, and I don't really even agree with that word toxic. Again, going back to what you said about toxic positivity, it seems like that's the way it's going right now. But typically it's toxic negative Star Wars. I just feel like
toxic positivity is an oxymoron. So
exactly.
I mean, that's like, I know there's somebody like, who you calling an oxymoron? But yeah, I mean, look, it's an oxymoron. You can't be positively toxic. I'm sorry. You can't be promoting positivity and good and be toxic. Those two things don't go together. You can be toxically negative. You can be whatever. But I don't think Star Wars fans are toxic. I think that there are some people that have been turned off to the franchise with the Disney acquisition, and again, those people are more than happy to let out their opinions. And I've said this before. I think, and this has gotten me in trouble. If you let the internet, and I'm going to say this right in, not to you, if you let the internet tell you what you think, and you let these big content creators like Star Wars Theory and Explain and Comics and all these other Star Wars content creators, if you let these guys dictate how you feel about Star Wars, you're a sheep. That's it. If you let the internet tell you without watching something yourself how you should feel and think about content, you're a sheep. I don't care how much you say you're an alpha and you're this and you're that. You're a sheep being led by a shepherd. And so I am not a sheep. I'm usually going against the grain with most of the Star Wars content creators because I refuse to be negative. I refuse to spew hate. I refuse. And I guess that's toxic these days, to refuse to be negative. So if that's toxic, cool story, bro. I'm toxic. I'll take it. I'll own it. I'll make a hat that says I'm toxic. And
well, people are afraid, and what Jack Brody says here, and the comment of the week was his earlier in the show that I pulled up, but he says it's so big beyond belief at this point in 2022. So everyone has their own meaning of it. That is why it is so heated. Everyone is afraid that it's not going to turn out the way they want it.
Yeah,
they're afraid. It's fear.
Yeah.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. They are not going to enjoy Star Wars if they demand that it is exactly what they want, because it never will be, and it cannot be to everyone else.
Right. And that's it. That's my point. Look, I'm not looking to go to war with anybody. I'm not looking to bash anybody's name. I'm just stating facts and things that I hear. And other people come on my stream and say, "Hey, thanks for being positive." They hit me up in the Discord. Thanks for trying something different, right? Instead of just hating on everything. And so, look, that's whatever wolf you want to feed that wolf, right? If you want to be negative, feed that negative wolf. If you want to be positive, feed that positive wolf. You feed the wolf inside of you that you want to feed and want to feel. I live in a world where negativity is everywhere. And I see it every single day of my life. I will not allow myself to be brainwashed or told that I am toxic because I enjoy this and this is a healthy disconnect for me. If this is not a healthy disconnect for you, sell me your toys, sell me your channel and your subscribers, and just step away.
If I could, I would share every single one of my subscribers with you.
I mean, That's it. I don't have empathy for people that say, well, this ruins it for me. Well, okay, well then you let it ruin it.
Yep.
Right. That's all. I mean, look, I'll debate this. I am just as big a Star Wars fan as the next person. And yes, there are a lot of people that have a lot more knowledge of books and literature that has been out there for a long time. I don't read a lot. It is a draining process for me personally. And I may not know everything that everybody else knows, but from what we see and what is canon by the standards of Lucasfilm, I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable, and I've done my homework on the canon that exists. And if you're saying this isn't canon because it's not Legends or EU and it's not the stuff that we've seen for 25 years, well, get over it. Yeah, dude, I'm a simp. I'm a total simp, man. It's cool. That's cool. I'm a simp. I'm a
Coach
I'm a
is simping on you.
I'm a shill. I'm Jack Shillington. I mean, there's only one other person that outshills me, and that's Star Wars Santa that I've met. He's the only one that outshills me.
Yep.
But look, I don't wish any negativity on anybody. Enjoy what you can enjoy, and try to look at the rest as filler.
Yep. Lemon Meerkat says I could give you both shout outs. I have a good amount of subs currently. I would greatly appreciate that. You've been very active on this channel recently, commenting on things. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to share this stream in a community post, that would be awesome. I would greatly appreciate it. I forgot to mention this early in the show, but everyone watching, we have here on Korriban officially passed the halfway point to monetization. We passed 2,000 watch hours.
Nice.
We got a little over 200 subs to go and 2,000 more watch hours.
Well, we're going to do for you what we've done for everybody else. When you get close, we're going to do that same stuff that we do, and we're going to push that like we do. But yeah, I mean, look, this is I am Jack Shillington, man. I am like I said, I think there's only one shill that outshills me. But yeah, I mean, look, guys, I love the guys at EBN. I love X-Wing. He's my road dog. There's a lot of content creators I enjoy. I enjoy Jay over at Drunk 3PO. I watch the Geeks and Gamers. I watch a lot of content. I have a lot of this stuff in the background, and sometimes they make me giggle with their negativity. I gotta be real honest. Sometimes that negativity makes me laugh, and I love it. And I'm sure sometimes my positivity makes them laugh, right? And that's where I try to meet in the middle, right? There's stuff in the middle we can like and agree on, and let's try to meet there and then build bridges backwards. That's how I live life, and that's what I try to do here.
Yep, absolutely. It's I just don't want to feel awful. I feel awful about a lot of stuff already. Star Wars is my escape. It's the one thing that I can go to just feel like a child again, but also just it's so interesting to me. The worlds, I want to know about that. I want to know what's happening in the galaxy at this time, whether it's good Star Wars to me or not, whether it feels Star Warsy to me or not. I want to know about this world. And if I let the distractions of, does it break canon? Oh, Reva's a bad actress. Like, oh, the branch stopped the person chasing Child Leia. If I focus on all that stuff and just ignore what this show can offer me, why do I even do this? I mean,
look, for every moment, there's a moment that makes me go, I can't even use the verbiage that I use when I'm watching, but I'm literally like, oh my God, what did I just see? Looking at the tomb at the tomb. I'm not going to go any further. I'm just going to say the word tomb because it is a spoiler alert. But you've had a week. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Looking at the tomb.
I give 24 hours on this channel.
I give a weekend. I haven't covered this at all. You haven't seen me cover. I've covered no Kenobi other than the Shillingtons and the grifters. That's it. That's all you've heard me talk about. The moment he sees, I think it's Master Tube. Is that his name? Our Ahsoka friend.
Yeah, the old guy. Yeah, that she met in the library.
When I saw him I had to my better half was still sleeping. It was 5 a.m. My better half was still sleeping. I had to contain my oh my gosh moment. And then he's walking through and I see all these other, and I'm and I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, bro, that gives me the feels. That those moments where they're giving, thank you, Master Simbu. Sinube. I'm bad with phonetics. If that gave me Clone War feels, right? That took me back to Clone Wars. The Inquisitor base took me to Fallen Order. They hit so many strings that made me go, oh yeah, oh yeah. Like I was so happy in those moments. People complaining about, Master Kenobi's pirouette saber move. Go watch the prequels. Go watch episode 1 with Qui-Gon Jinn where he's doing that stuff. Go back to that.
Darth Maul does a B twist. Do you think that was really necessary? No, but it looks cool.
But it looks cool as F, right? I mean, look, dude, I'm not. Again, there's a lot of holes I could poke, man. I could sit here with pins and needles and poke holes in this thing all day. Just poke, and ruin things for me and ruin the way I feel about things. Or I could just enjoy the moments where I hear lightsabers and I see lightsaber battles and I see these nostalgic people like the actor that plays Bail Organa, right? No recasting, original guy. Like these are the things that make me feel Star Wars, right? That's it. I can't sit here and type in these 3 million subscriber or these 200,000 subscriber channels that I can't type in their chat fast enough to illustrate my point. If you want to talk to me about why I like Kenobi, let's have a dialogue. Let's talk about it. I'm not going to super chat. I'm not going to sit in your chat all day and try to typey my point when you might read 1 of 5. Like you want to know, you really want to know, bring some of us, gutter trash, bring the gutter rat like me on your big fancy channel and let's talk about it. And if you school me, you school me. But I'm not going to change my perspective on being a shill about this. I'm digging what you're giving me.
Yep. Ghost Rider says, I envy those of you that can ignore plot holes, inconsistencies, and continuity and remain positive. It's not at least for me, it's not that I'm ignoring those things because I do, as I said a couple times during this show, have my valid criticisms of a lot of this show so far. I could get very negative if I wanted to. Yeah. But I don't really care all that much. If you in regards specifically to being negative, I don't care to pick this apart and poke holes in it until there's nothing left. I want to focus on what I do like, and what I do like in this show, it has delivered on.
So we are all majority of Star Wars fans are fans of the Jedi, right? The teachings of the Jedi. There's a lot of people that are, if you're dark side, you're dark side. If you're Imperial, you like that stuff. That's cool. Hey, I like it all, baby. If you're a fan of the teachings of the Jedi, and just like you said, fear leads to hate, anger, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and so on and so forth. This is a choice, right? Just like dark or light, Sith or Jedi, you're choosing to feel how you feel. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, I can't control how I feel. Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I'm gonna interrupt you real quick.
You can choose.
As someone who has dealt with severe depression in my past, there is a conscious choice aspect of it. And I'm not speaking for everyone, but I'm speaking for myself. There are actual physical reasons why some people feel certain ways, and that you cannot control. How you deal with it, and if you allow yourself to stay in certain positions, is your choice. And I know that's a lot more weighty of a subject than Star Wars, a galaxy far, far away, but it still applies. If you are feeling down about certain things, and if there are legitimate reasons why you don't like a certain thing, you can still choose to allow yourself to dwell in that space. And in terms of being a content creator, make the focus of your channel in the short term about that negativity. It is a choice.
It's a choice.
It's not very Jedi like.
Look, I talk to a lot of the guys frequently, daily. I talk to a lot of the guys, and again, number one, the story's not over. If we were sitting here at week 6 and it's over and we've had a week to think about it, fine. you want to bash on it. You want to say this ruined Star Wars for me. Fine.
Yep.
Okay. But we're not done. And there was another, I've seen a lot of hate for Joby, the writer. And, I've heard people on Twitter bash on him and say awful things just about his name. Right.
Mm.
Oh, it figures somebody like this with a name like that would write awful stuff. And okay, well, again, you're choosing to live in that space. That's all.
Yep.
I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm not saying you're a crappy human being. I'm simply saying that is a choice to live in that negative space and to say
Mhm.
things that are negative like that. Right? We all think all kinds of things, but what you say is what matters, and the words you use and the content you put out. So, again, Josh at Den of Nerds is somebody that I enjoy watching, and I enjoy the realism of the guy. And he says something all the time. Look, I probably actually put out 1 out of 15 tweets because I erase a lot of them because I'm thinking about it. Right. I think more people would be better served if I do that. I'll write a 2-page long tweet and I'll be like, no, that was too aggressive. No, you don't need to go there. No.
Mhm.
Right. Because I'm making a choice to stay in the light. So if you want to live in the darkness, great timing. If you want to live in the darkness, live in the darkness.
Right.
But I choose to live in the light. That's it.
Awesome, dude. I greatly appreciate that. That's one of the things that I will never lose is willingness to help out other channels of any size. Someone has 2 subscribers, like, dude, come on my show and I will share with you as many as I can. Like I'm absolutely willing to help anyone with their channel.
I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, I've tried to do as much as I can for as many creators as I can. I've offered the big guys help. They ignore me. I've sent stuff to all kinds of people. I enjoy helping people and doing good things. And I'll continue to do it. So I know that Aiden's waiting on a reply from me. I've been doing some research and trying to get my hands on stuff and give him a real review of something before he spends money. And let him know what I think is best. I've sent stuff to X-Wing. I've sent stuff to other creators.
You haven't sent me my coffee yet.
Well, we haven't. We actually, truth be told, we haven't even put a bean in the roaster in over a year. So trust me, as soon as we get the roaster fired up, as soon as we have and it's not me. If I knew how to do it, you'd have bags. But as soon as the master gets their head back in there, trust me, you're gonna get so much coffee, you're gonna be throwing that stuff at people. You're gonna be like, take this, I got too much. But yeah, I mean,
I'm looking forward to it.
If you need anything, like I said, you let me know. If there's anything I have here in the studio that's sitting off in the corner that I can send you, let me know. Because that's what I'm about. I'm about spreading positivity and I'm about helping other people. So
exactly. And Ghost Rider said we keep his hope alive even if he's not enjoying this series. Well, I'm honored, honestly. If I can salvage someone's love for the Star Wars as a whole, that's huge for me. I love that.
Keep your head above water, right? Even if I could keep you floating during the dark times, even if that's something that you just need to hear something light, come by. That's usually what it is. It's very, very seldomly is it negative in my space. Every now and again, we'll get into heated battles. Yeah. But like somebody said earlier, oh, I thought you and X-Wing didn't like each other, dude. Love that guy. We don't see anything eye to eye. Love that guy. That's
and I was more than happy to stick up for Coach through that whole drama with Book of Boba Fett after episode 2 or whatever, because I know Coach personally in real life. Yeah. And you don't turn on friends. Like who does that? Yeah. Like over I said, a fake universe. Ladaj here says we should be able to have logical discussions with why we dislike or dislike something. No reason for hate on either side. I will always love Star Wars. I will focus on being more positive. Yep. And I will, truth be told, probably have 2 separate streams on, 2 different weeks after this show concludes. One stream about the stuff I didn't like, and probably another stream about the stuff that I did like, because so far there's a lot on both sides, and I want to be rational and reasonable and have that discussion overall after the series airs. But to be frank, like I don't know. For myself, I love getting into the deeper philosophical aspects of why we love Star Wars. And I'm not as much about the lore or details about Star Wars per se. I want to know why we love this. What is it about this that we love? And I cannot let myself get down that rabbit hole of hating this.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Look, I'm the last thing I'm gonna say that makes me giggle. And this is one of those things that I just don't get. People are upset, genuinely upset, that Vader didn't walk into the Imperial March. This is a legit,
Is that really what people are saying?
This is a legit complaint.
That never crossed my mind at all.
And I honestly don't even care about what if the music that's playing in the background is what is clicking the button off for you, just pack it in. Just again, send me your toys. I'll give them a good home. Sell me your subscribers. I'll pay you decent for them. Let's just move along. Move along. Right. I'm not. Exactly. That's all I can say. As I appreciate you letting me continue to try to be a shill and to try to shill and bring everybody as much happiness as they can. I'm just not getting the hate right now. I'm hoping that Dave and the team and Deborah sew this thing up so tight with the last 2 episodes that they really can't contest how amazing this really is. And that I really hope that we see Hayden in the next 2 episodes more. I really hope he gets some more screen time, because if I'm going to air out my one piece of dirty laundry, just one sock I'm going to put out of my dirty laundry in the universe, it's that I'm just not seeing enough Hayden. I miss Hayden. I love Hayden. I'm a Hayden fan. I'm a Hayden shill. So that's so far my only gripe. 4 episodes. I feel you on that. I want more Hayden. I love how much I've gotten of Kenobi, but I want more Hayden.
Yep. And if anything I can leave with you guys, it would be pick out what you like, try to focus on that and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And the stuff that you don't like, figure out why you don't like it. Try to have those reasonable, rational reasons as to why you don't like that, instead of letting the emotion take over and blinding you from anything that you could potentially enjoy.
Yeah.
I let that happen to me with the sequel trilogy. There's a lot that I like now looking back that I missed out on, because from the very first scene of The Force Awakens, I let myself be blinded by hatred. I was looking for reasons to hate it. I feel like a lot of people are in that position now. But I mean, we're going to wrap it up here. Everyone, I really appreciate you guys coming by. Obsession, it's a pleasure having you on.
Always great.
It's very nice talking to you. So for everyone in the chat, if you've been here since the very beginning, I really appreciate your time. May the stash be with you, and I will see you wherever I happen to see you in the galaxy.